Molo sis Nolubabalo.
Molo tata.
Ungumamni.
Ngumamdlane ututusi unomdibu utoka libazana.
Oh, ke hayi siyabona. Besalungise izinto wethu kangoba sizawuvana na. Singifumene umuntu ozamtolikela ngamnjani.
Okay. Uyavakala mna phofu kwelo cala tata.
Uyavakala.
Inkosi advocate.
What is the name of the the one? Okay. No call corner. Huh? What is it? Kuweke ngokuba Nolubabalo. U-advocate Nqele uza kufundisa ke nawe njengomntu ozothetha apha. Emveni koko ke uMr July uza kunyambazisa kwinto ekhoyo kwintetho oyifungeleyo wayibhala phantsi. Advocate Nqele.
Thank you, Chair. Wallace Snolu.
You've muted yourself.
Asikuva sicela uthathele phezulu.
Okanye umtshini lo.
Yes.
Hayi asikuva kakuhle.
Kakuhle.
Nasengikhule kaloku no.
Remember you had the same problem this morning. Can you do what you did? Can you say something?
My volume is on 100. When we were doing a test this morning, and you did
Just for about 5 to 10 minutes. In fact, let's start at 10:30. and so that we take care of all the sort of technical glitches.
We'll cut sound. Can we keep it on the line?
Is on board. Thank you very much, everybody. Good morning, all. We're going to administer the oath. Advocate Ngale, can you communicate to Ms. Ndzundzu?
Morning, Sis Nolu.
Morning, Advocate.
Yes, are you going to take an oath or are you going to affirm?
An oath, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Ms. Nolubabalo Ndzundzu, do you swear that the evidence you're about to give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If that is so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you very much. You've now been sworn in as a participant in the SJN hearings. Thank you.
Nokolo Melana, I just want to remind you that you're still under the oath that you took the other day to translate from isiXhosa to English and from English to isiXhosa to the best of your ability. You confirm that?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Mr. July?
Ms. Ndzundzu, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, sir. And how are you, sir?
I'm okay. There is an affidavit that you submitted, and that affidavit is in front of you.
Yes.
And that affidavit is not signed. We don't have a signed copy, but you have just taken an oath, and that oath that we have taken incorporate the contents of this affidavit, right?
That's correct, sir.
Yes. Now, your affidavit is structured in 3 parts. The first part, which takes almost half of your affidavit, you are talking about your trial and tribulations for the game you love, right?
That's correct, sir.
And then the next thing that you talk about is the gender discrimination within the sports.
That's correct, sir.
Yes, and the last part of your affidavit is your expectation from CSA. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes. So you now have an opportunity then to talk. As I understand, you are going to talk using your mother tongue, and it will be translated.
Yeah, I'm gonna mix because I was not aware, say, that I'm gonna use my mother tongue. Yes, but I thought I'm gonna mix the language, both
Okay.
English and Xhosa.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If you are able to, try and keep to the language that you started to talk with. And so that Unokolo will only assist where you feel you are not able to communicate what you want to say to us sufficiently in English. But I'm happy if you start off and with English and try and stick to English as much as you can. But don't feel that you are incapacitated or you are not able to express your inner feelings simply because you are now compelled to speak in English. But we have Nokolo Nelana, who is here to interpret your isiXhosa in the event you have had to resort to isiXhosa. Is that clear?
Yes, it's clear, Advocate. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Over to you now.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, sir. You know, starting with my background, my name is Nolubabalo Ndzundzu. I'm from Masingata location, King Williamstown. Nolubabalo uzalwa kwikhaya cricket, where all my brothers used to play cricket. I joined them at a very young age, at the age of 6, where my job there was to chase the ball all around. So it was all fun. You know, when I say I'm coming from a family of cricket, because even my father used to be a good cricketer of those days. So I enjoyed the sport. As I grew up, I also played with boys of my age in the dusty streets of Masingata. You know, in the olden days, cricket used to be the men's sport. And, you know, I was not happy about that because I've been having this question in my mind. I wonder what happened. Why are we not playing cricket? And so I was fortunately enough to be given now the opportunity where only in 1999, when I was at college, I think I was about 22 years of age at that time. So I was at college, Fort Cox College of Agriculture, busy there doing my final year in animal production. So it was in June holidays where I was at home. So someone came at my house, another guy from my village, and he told me that, hey, Nolubabalo, I saw the article on the paper that Border Cricket is requesting all the ladies that are interested to go there and play cricket. So there will be trials on such a date. So, you know, and then this guy told me about the guy to be conducted, which is Brian McClay, who was the news reporter by then. So I went there. So on the day of trials, so I met the team with my performance. So thereafter, so I went for practices with Border in preparation with the tournament. There was going to be an inter-provincial tournament that was going to take place later in Pretoria. So the day comes, I was at this tournament. So at the end of the tournament, a squad of 25 was selected. So amongst the players from all other provinces. So I did very, very well there. That is where I caught the eyes of the selectors. So at the end of the tournament, so my name was also called amongst those 25 players. That is the start. That is where I started to join the SA team. So that was an achievement, you know, the country should make an exciting opportunity, you know, but, you know, that lasted for a few days, meaning the excitement for cricket, it lasted for a few days because now, because of the challenges, the pressure, you know, the risk, taking of risk at times, you know, in my journey of playing cricket. So, you know, all those things, they did not interfere with my performance, you know, on the field because I still performed to the best of my ability because I really loved the game. So coming to my life as a cricketer, you know, it was very, very, very challenging in so many ways, you know, than one, because I was exposed to danger. As I said, I was staying at the campus by the time I was selected. So I was staying in Middle Drift. So the mode of transport, I was relying on hitchhiking and lifts, where, you know, the college is situated where there's no houses around, you know, and where I had to catch, a taxi or getting a lift from strangers most of the time. And, you know, in that area, in the morning, that is how the transport was operating. So, you know, in the morning, it's only in the morning that the taxis are busy. So during the day, there's no taxis. The taxis will only, the public transport will only operate or will only be busy in the afternoon again. So bear in mind, our practices were on Fridays, everything, 4 o'clock to 6 or past the latest. So most of the time, when I come from, from East London, you know, it's already dark. And, you know, the only way for me to leave to Lemston, it was of walking, where I used to walk from the college, from the campus. In order for me to leave, walk about approximately an hour and a half with that cricket bag. So as I said, in order for me to get, as I said, when I come back from practice, it was the same exercise. So when I was dropped off by the lift, so I had to walk, it's dark already. So, you know, what I was doing was, there is a village between the campus, between Fort Cox College and the place where I was getting a lift. There's a village called Mahu. So when it's dark, there was a shibin there. I used to walk there to that shibin because the guys from the campus used to go there and enjoy themselves by drinking there at the shibin. So I would go there for me to at least have people to go with me from, from that location, you know, from the shibin back to the campus. So I would literally sit there and wait for them until the guys are finished drinking. It doesn't matter how tired I was, but I didn't have any choice because it was like safer to me than to go alone in the dark. So I would say sit there, wait, and the earliest time for them to finish. And remember, I cannot rush those people if they are not yet finished. I had to wait. So the earliest time for us, it was around about 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. And the latest would be, say, around 2 a.m. And, you know, bear in mind, Nolubabalo doesn't drink. I didn't drink, but I had to sit there and wait for them, you know. And, you know, on the other hand, I was exposed to rape because now at that time of the night, walking for maybe about an hour, walking back to the campus with a group of drunk males, you know, but fortunately enough for me, I thank God, you know, these guys, they never raped me and they even never attempted to do so. So, you know, I just practiced that until I finished college. So after college again, you know, another frustration started because I said from college to King Williamstown, I was getting a lift from the captain. But now the person that I was getting a lift from, she moved to East London. So she was permanently, you know, staying in East London. So now the thing is, I had to find my own way now to go to Buffalo Park, where there was no means other than by taxi. I had to catch a taxi from Masingata to town, and then from town to East London. And remember, Buffalo Park, where we used to practice, is not close there by the taxi rank or where the taxi is used to drop me off. So I would carry that bag, walk from taxi rank approximately 30 to 45 minutes. You know, I did that without any fear because it was all good. And I even thought, I mean, there's nothing that I can do. And that's the way it should be. It should be like that. So same exercise after practice, you know, the white people would just jump into their cars and then myself as to take my bag and walk to the taxi rank. So I did that and it took me long. I mean, until one day, you know, one day, I was coming from practice as usually, very tired, and it was late. As I said that, you know, our practice was taking 2 hours till 6 or the latest 6:30. You know, 3 guys just came to me on my way. I was just halfway to the taxi rank. So these guys came to me and they took out the knives and they demanded everything. They said the money, they wanted the money, they want the cell phones. So they took everything out of me. And I was fortunate enough, you know, because their approach to me was, hey, Gwetin, where's the money? Where's the phone? Where's the thingy? Where you just give us everything. And fortunately for me, those guys, they didn't notice that I am a female because, you know, just imagine if maybe they realize that I am female. So those guys, maybe they could have been raped me as well, but they didn't because they never noticed. So the fear now started, but still, that has never stopped me from playing cricket. I just continued going there, you know, and, you know, on that issue of the challenge of transport, you know, I remember in my first tour going away with SA team, there at Buffalo Park, I was practicing the other day. There's a guy there who was helping me, and he's still there. So we were having a practice session. So I was called there by the other guy that, Nolu, please come see me before you go, because the next day I was gonna go away for the tour, for my first tour, England tour. So I went to that office. I couldn't believe. So we talked and said, oh, go well and make us proud. We're all behind you. You know, there was money there in a plastic money bag in coins. So I was given this money. No, take the money. This is your money to go to the airport tomorrow. And, you know, my flight I was supposed to be at the airport 7 o'clock in the morning. And now I was like thinking inside of me, how am I gonna get to the airport at 7 in the morning? Because at my village, the first taxi only operates around 6:06. So 6:30, the first taxi is in town, meaning that was impossible for me to be at the airport at 7 o'clock. You know, so it was something like that. And at times I could hear that complaining border cricket that, you know, we are not supposed to take responsibility as the province. Cricket South Africa is supposed to take the responsibility and make sure that they are transporting you from home to airport, from the airport and back home. So this was my situation. So coming to when I after I finished my diploma, you know, I never bothered myself to apply for any job relating my qualifications because, you know, I was promised there at Border Cricket to get a permanent job within cricket. And, you know, at that particular time, I was busy with development of young girls because what I did after I was selected, there were a lot of girls there at my village who showed interest. They also wanted to play. They approached me. What can we do? So I decided to organize, and we all decided to have a team there. And, you know, and I even go physically to other locations that are around Masingata, like Mdingi. I went to Mdingi, I went to Chuchu village, because now it was only border, and of which that was not on to only play for border, because border, I knew that there must be clubs that are supporting border. So I even approached what I was doing. So even the schools, the school that know there is cricket, they don't, you know. So I calling that, you know what, I know is cricket, yeah, but thing is only this. If you give me a chance to your kids that are school, so I'm gonna. So I used to go maybe Masingata, the next day in on village, and as far as Ginsberg, the primary school there. So out there, you know, I was given a promise to call level 2, because the coaching I was doing it with a level 2 coaching. I had a 2 coaching course. So I was posted there at Border Cricket to go for level 3, but that didn't happen. Coming to, you know, myself, bear in mind, after I finished college, it was all good for my family and excitement too, because I'm from a family that is poor. I'm from poor family. That my mother used to work, you know, as a domestic worker, supporting me, making sure that I've got everything, you know, in my needs while I was pursuing my studies, you know. So me completing the diploma, that also, it gave her hope, you know, that I will get at least a job and obviously support my family, obviously put something on the table for my family as well. But that didn't happen. Instead, the policies accompanied by a lot of excuse continued. You know, the years went by, I really got frustrated and I was depressed, because now the thing that was depressing me was, you know, I am this unemployed graduate, you know, not because I couldn't get, not because there was no job for me with my diploma, but because, you know, I was told that cricket is in need of me, you know, to develop those young girls there, to develop especially, you know, as a role model and a mentor, especially, you know, I'm coming from rural background, I'm coming from disadvantaged areas. So, you know, I also wanted to do that. You know, as I have mentioned, that I am from rural background. I went to school, to rural schools, you know, and my English, as a result, my English is not so good. It was even worse back then. So I could hardly hear what people are saying when they are speaking English. So as a cricketer, that made my life, miserable. I was lonely there, uncomfortable, and I even felt embarrassed at times. This thing, coming to room, when we go for tours, when our rooms are being located, I would be in a position where, because we were sharing rooms there, we used to be two in the room. I was, where you would find out that, there is this person who is like running around asking for someone to swap. And I would notice that, okay, this particular person who wants to swap is the one who's sharing with Nolubabalo. So it was like that. And at times I was even approached to maybe move from my room to other room, So I didn't hesitate at times. I used to do that. Coming to that, that English that I couldn't understand at times. I remember one time there was a training camp. So I came the next day alone with wearing short sleeve, where everyone was wearing long sleeve. And I didn't notice that I'm the only one. And I missed the communication a day before that we must be wearing long sleeves instead of short sleeve because we were going to take team photos. So I came there. I was so embarrassed. And the manager at times couldn't understand. She was like saying, Nolu, why do you always want to do your own things? Yeah, because this was said. And I was really struggling because even this English that I'm struggling to speak, it was mixed with Afrikaans at times, where you would be our team meetings, you will find out that some of the players, when they are forced to speak English, they would say, no, we're uncomfortable to speak, Afrikaans, and then Nolu can be translated later. But that was not happening. I remember the other day, we were having dinner as a team. We went out as a team. 2 tables were joined together in order to accommodate the whole team. So loudly, one of the teammates, Nolu, please tell us, do you understand English? Please, Nolu, be honest. Please tell us, do you understand English? The whole table laughed before I even answered that question. And I don't remember myself answering that question because I knew that this particular person asking this kind of a question, she knows the answer. She knows exactly what she's asking. So I was so embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I don't even remember myself, finishing my food. I just lost appetite immediately. Those bad moments that I was experiencing, I never shared at home. I couldn't say at home, listen, Mom, this is exactly what is happening. Because now my fear was, I was with the assumption that maybe my family, they were gonna say, okay, it's better for me to stop playing cricket. Yeah, that kind of decision that I was thinking, that was really not gonna be in good favor of me because I loved the game. So I just kept quiet. I just kept everything in myself. I was, slowly dying every day. slowly dying every day. And I was even losing, confidence as a person. So my confidence in all was destroyed. So it was then only after I played World Cup 2005 where I realized that, man, let me look for something that will advantage my family. That is a job. Because now, it's been 5 years now in this team, going on tours, not earning anything. I was even unable to put anything for my family because we were only getting meal allowance. That is what we were getting. And even then, only if we're gonna eat, we're gonna be having dinner, out. That is then that we will get meal allowance. So I just gave up, not because I felt that, I'm finished my part now on the field, but, I just gave up because I was hungry. And the thing now, I couldn't put anything. Instead, really, that was not fair for my family. After all these years, they were making sure that every time I go for the tours and every time I go for games, they make sure that I've got everything. My mother used to make sure that I've got everything that I need. So, even people by then who promised that there is a job for me, they were no longer there. They were nowhere to be found. So, Advocate, only in 2006, in September, I joined the police, not because I wanted to. And I never, honestly, the honest truth, I never thought of becoming a police one day. But because I was left with no choice, I didn't have a choice. I had to go for whatever was available for me at that particular time, which is fortunately enough for me. Then I was called for the police. Even if I am in the police, but I still love the game. I still love the game of cricket, and I will never hate cricket. I just regret that I believed, in empty promises. I just regret because I feel I was used. But still, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud to be part of history, because even in the next 10 years, to come, Nolubabalo Ndzundzu will remain as the first Black woman to represent the country. So, and another thing with cricket, what kept me going, I know there's still people who believed in me, because the reason why I'm saying that at the moment, I am part of selection there with border cricket, women's cricket. I'm the convener there of the selectors. So I never hesitated when I received a call that I must be part. I said, no, it's fine. I still love the game. That is why I make sure that if ball is playing around the East London, I must be there. So thank you, Advocate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that moving story. It gives one a sense of your journey with cricket. We are going to ask you a few questions, but feel free to express yourself as much as you can. I just want to take you back to your time at Fort Cox when you were studying. And just get a sense of the location. Now, if my memory serves me well, Fort Cox, in relation to King Williamstown, what kind of distance would you say Fort Cox is?
Distance between Fort Cox and King Williamstown is about 40 to 45 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, 40 to 45 kilometers.
Yes.
40 to 45 kilometers.
And the distance between Fort Cox and Alice, where the University of Fort Hare is?
Say 30 to 40.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Yes.
I'm not sure on it.
Yes.
40 Ks.
My estimation would put it at those kinds of kilometers. Now, you say when you were at Fort Cox, where did you have to go in order to play cricket whilst you were at Fort Cox College of Agriculture?
Sorry, Advocate, I get you.
Yes, I was saying.
Or if not, maybe you can interpret for me. Can please interpret for me?
I was saying whilst
at Fort Cox, cricket uyidlalela phi? Ngela xesha ubupha Fort Cox.
Oh, okay. Tuba bengise Fort Cox, cricket bendidlala phaa esikolweni ekholeji kwi-men's team. I'm sorry that ndilibele ukutsho ukuthi I was captaining the side there. Bendidlala with guys there, the males. So bendidlala phaa ekholeji, even captaining the team of college.
So your evidence is that though you were a female, you played cricket with males from the University College. And that was not competitive sport. You just played it because you loved cricket. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So and after you had qualified from Fort Cox College of Agriculture, did you join or did you continue to play cricket? And how and where did you do so?
Yeah. Yes, advocate. After college, you know, saye saformisha teams around King Williamstown. Kuba ke bendi border. Sa kwakwi teams as around there. So bendidlala phaya.
Ungathethi xa uzothetha isixhosa wenzele noxolo uba atolike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you were saying?
Oh, I was saying, after college, uba ke bese ndimentionile intoba ndaye ndadicide intoba masifomishe iteam phaa kwaMasingata nakweza lali zi-around Masingata phaa koMdingi noTyutyu village. So ke ndidlale phaya, and I remember ndidlalile naphaa kwi-clubs ze-guys phaa kwaMasingata.
Now, Noxolo, are you going to interpret that for the record, please? Noxolo, can you interpret that for the record?
In Masingata. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. After college, I started playing with teams around King Williamstown, including areas like Masingata, where I'm from, the men's team in Masingata, and other teams in Tyutyu village and in Mdingi and other local areas.
Yes. Now, when you played with those teams, was it still in the same way that you played whilst you were at Fort Cox? You were a female playing with males? Or what was the position? With whom were you playing?
Yeah, it was not the same, because now at Fort Cox, I used to play with guys, the experienced, you know, because cricket used to be a men's sport. Now, when we started, when I started with those girls, so the standard of cricket was not the same, because, you know, they were still learning. It was not the same.
So was that a cricketing club or a cricketing group that you formed? I just want to get a picture of...
Yes.
Now, where did you get the resources, and where did those who you played with get the resources? How did you put together a sporting group, given the expenses that one gets into just to get the equipment?
Oh, okay. I-equipment uqala kwethu bebesebenzisa i-equipment yami ebendiyisebenzisa, and even the guys bebesinceda kakhulu abanama-bat, like the old bats. So basinike si-practice using those bats up until later safumana kit from Border Cricket. So we were given bags from Border Cricket for practicing. But in terms of nets and everything, the same nets, you know, with guys. But we had to amaxesha practice angabi the same.
At first, we used to use my own cricketing gear. Later, they started assisting with their own old bats that they would share with the rest of the team. We later got a kit and bats from border cricket. And then as far as the use of nets and other gear on the field, we would alternate cricket sessions and not play at the same time as the guys so that we have time to play on the field.
Yeah.
Ms. Ndzundzu, I just want to ask you the following. As we speak, is there a club that exists in the area where you stay, which is the women's team?
Yes, there is a club, the Good Hope Club, Good Hope Women.
Yes.
But the thing is, the clubs, those clubs that I formed, ngela xesha. So by the time them guy and I began college, yamapolisa, because I was away from cricket, you know, for about 2 years. So nazavela zaphela because they didn't have anyone to support them. Zaphela. So later on, ngela xesha sendibuyile saformisha inandupi clubs. It was first kwaku Good Hope, ikhona ke ngone around there.
The clubs that I had formed prior to going to police college fell apart after I left. But upon returning, I formed a new club, Good Hope, and it's still in existence at this point.
What was the role of the CSA in the establishment of those clubs?
No, true. And kuvanga
ibiyintoni indima ye-Cricket SA ekuqambeni kwakho eza clubs?
andikhumbuli indima, but mhlawumbi ke kuba ke i-cricket ibisuka kwi-border cricket, mhlawumbi ke ikiti ibisuka ku-CSA ize ke kuthi via i-border cricket. So nayo indima endinokuyikhankanya.
As far as I know, there is no particular role that Cricket SA played, but it could be that as far as the kids were concerned, maybe they came from Cricket SA through border cricket to come to us, but there's no other role that I can say that Cricket SA played.
You were promised, according to your affidavit, you were promised that you will be involved in cricket and your role will be in the development of girls in your area. And you say that that promise was never fulfilled. Now, my question is, who made that promise to you? And what is it that you did to make sure that promise, or did you approach the people who made that promise to you?
The person that I talked to or who talked to me, I was approached by a guy called Mr. Greg Hayes. That was the person who talked to me and told me about me being involved in the development of young girls. And so every time, or at times, in border cricket, would say, Nolu, asikulibelanga. Nolu, go get a driver's license. It was something like that. So the other day, so it took me ixesha ukuba ndibe ne driver's license because now there was money involved. for ukuya driving school, uyofaka appointment konke nje. So but ekugqibeleni, say maybe after a year or two, ndanayo driver's license, and I informed yena, but into nayixelelwayo, okay, asilibelanga, ndizayithetha loo nto meeting. And it was not only him, there was also a guy called Mr. Runert Bowser, who was the CEO by then. He even asked me the other day, I was there at practicing there, asked me, how far are you? No, how far are you with your driver's license? But by that time, Mr. Bowser was asking, I didn't have one, you know. But later on, I had one, the driver's license. So they were aware that I've got the driver's license, but, you know, I never get a job up until today.
As we speak now, is there any development or attempt to develop cricket, women's cricket, in the border area?
Yeah, there is development because now, you know, even some of the ladies that I used to coach at that time, because I do have products, I produced, you know, good cricketers. There is good cricketers there. And some of them just retire because I would mention a lady called Kusela Soka, whom I used to play with and coach. So Agasadlali, she is the coach at the moment. So economic development, but you know, with I'm a lady, it's not the same. I mean, the support is not the same because you would find out that even though it's there, but guys, they are not interested in women's cricket or in girls' cricket the same way they are interested in boys' cricket.
Paragraph 5. Can you please go to paragraph 5 of your affidavit?
On page?
Page 2, paragraph 5.
Okay. Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. You said the final team was later selected from these 25 women to tour England in 2000 and for the World Cup tour in New Zealand in the same year. In both tournaments we toured, I was the first black African woman to make the SA's women team. If you listened to the evidence of the previous players who also at one stage there would be one first black people to be taken to a tour, but they never played. I just want to find out in your case, did you play in those tours?
In 2000.
You know, in the store, I only get shot on the last day. We played 5 games there when I was in England. There were 5 games. I only played the last one, the 5th one. The 1st, 2nd, the 4th, I was the 12th man in all those games. Nantutamanzi in and off the field, as long as I game. Daifumana only game the last game. And even in New Zealand, I never played all those games. I don't know, I can't remember how many games esizidlalileyo, but into endiyibulayo azange ndiyifumane opportunity kuzo zonke eza games. Ixesha elininzi bendiba ngu-12th man as a tenure coach, the guy called Ngece, because my t-shirt was it's number 12, and he just jokingly said to me, you know what, you must change that number at the back. You must change that number 12, because seemingly you are here in this team to be number 12 all the time.
Okay.
Yes.
What was the reason given to you for not playing you?
You know, the coach said to me, you know, it's not easy for him to train a team that is playing. But to my surprise, that team was not winning. As far as I know, it's not easy to change the team that is winning, you know. But the team that is losing, obviously you have to, to do something slightly different, of which with me that was not happening. The team was still losing, but Nolu was still number 12.
You also testify that in your affidavit, you say you were not paid. When you say you were not paid salaries or you were not remunerated, was it you in particular, or was it everybody who was part of the tour who were not paid?
The only person that I'm sure of is myself. I don't know about others, but I just assuming that we were not getting paid. It's just an assumption. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just assuming that we as the women, you know, we were not getting paid. But the only person that I'm sure of is myself. I never get paid. I don't say even others never get paid, or they were getting paid.
Was it ever explained to you why were you not paid? All of you,
no,
if you were not all of you paid?
No, sir, it was never explained. I never get that explanation as to why are we not getting paid.
Did you ask?
As to why are we only getting meal allowance?
Yeah. Did you ask?
No, I never asked.
Yeah. Are women allowed to be members of SACA? Do you know SACA?
Can you explain, say, what is SACA?
SACA, which is the South African Cricket Association, which is a trade union for players at professional level, as I understand.
Yes. Well, I'm not sure, honestly say, I'm not sure if women are allowed to be. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Do you know Miss Zola Tamai?
Yes, I know. I know Zola, Miss Zola Tamai. She was once a manager for me.
Yes. And have you ever been to tour with her?
Yes, I've been in one of the, but I'm not sure which one. But Zola, she was a manager.
Okay, because when she came to address us 2 weeks ago, she spoke about the condition of the accommodations during the time that she would tour with female cricketers. She also spoke about, the issue with the connecting flights where, players had to sleep at the airport and take baths at the airport. Were you part of that team?
No, I was not part of the team. I never experienced that. Maybe it was by the time I was no longer there.
So you never had any issues with accommodation or kids not arriving on time or sleeping at the airport?
Yes, that I know. I experienced that, whereby you, the kid is not there at that time, or maybe you find out that ngifumana impahla enkulu kakhulu, you know, and ndandiyazi ukuthi I must take with me inaliti nekhali, because at least I can do it. I did do sewing at school. So ndandiphatha inaliti nekhali, knowing that I might get, even though I was medium by then, I might get maybe XXL or something bigger than me. So that was an issue always.
Okay, no,
And so it was, and I mean, I understand at times, if someone's by you don't even know, but that was it. And we didn't have any choice. We had to take what we were given.
And then the 5 years ubusithi bungabhadalwa ngeyiphi period? It's between which years?
I joined the squad in 1999, and last time I played, it was in 2005, after World Cup. So from that period, I never get anything. I never received anything.
So now, besides, you said obviously now there are contracts in place, and obviously there are sponsors for female cricketers. Besides that improvement, what other improvement would you say is there for female cricketers presently?
You mean beside the contracts?
Yes.
Can you repeat your question?
No problem. I'm just asking if there are any other changes now or improvements that female cricketers are benefiting from now that you might not have benefited from at the time.
Yeah, some of the cricketers, those who used to play, are also involved in coaching. Yeah. So at least by Nikki, because some of the provinces, the coach was the former players. And obviously, the contract at least, only players as a contract, at least they are getting something. That is the exchange a coin.
Should I translate?
If you could, just interpret those sections where she spoke in this talk.
Okay. I could say that there is a bit of a change because recently some of the former players are getting to coach teams and they are getting contracts.
Now, I want to ask you about two things. The first one is your testimony that you felt embarrassed when you were asked if you understand English. And apparently there was a laughter after the question was asked. Why did you feel embarrassed?
Notolo, can you please translate, because advocate, you were breaking a bit, so I didn't get you.
Well, let me repeat the question. In paragraph 19 of your affidavit, you say,
paragraph 19.
Nolu, do you understand English? And then the whole table laughed before you could even answer. Now you raise that as a reason for you feeling embarrassed and humiliated. And in fact, you go so far as to say you could not even eat. I can imagine what was going through your mind, but I would like you to express it in your own words. Why did you feel embarrassed? Why didn't you just, for instance, why didn't you say, what are you laughing at? You know, that kind of thing.
Or ukuziva ndihlazekile ngoba advocate ndandiyazi ukuthi lambuzo ndandiwubuzwa nalameko, it was because that person wayefuna nje ukonwabisa abantu ngam kuba esazi into i-English yona kunzima uba mandiyithethe, kunzima noyi-understanda. But then at that particular time kwandaziva into yoba the person okanye la meko kwakufuneka nje kuviwe kamnandi ngam. So zange kube mnandi kum loo nto leyo, zange kube mnandi tu kum ukuyazi into yoba yimeko yokuhlekisa kum le meko ndikuyo. And because kaloku ngamanye amaxesha nam ndiyafuna ukuva uba kuthethwa ntoni na, but kungelishwa andikwazi ukuva. And ke ngoku then ithi loo nto ndinengxaki endinayo, but le ngxaki ndinayo yenziwa worse ngokuba kuthi kuhlekiswe ngayo.
Knox, can you
Thank you.
do interpretation?
Okay. At the time when that question was asked, I knew that the person asking had the intention to humiliate me and make fun of me. There was no genuine concern. And it was hurtful and humiliating because everyone knew that I was struggling to speak the language, and it was no fault of my own, but it was just how things were. And I wasn't going to be able to respond at that moment. And I also wish that I were in a position to always be able to understand what is being said and contribute to conversations, but unfortunately I could not. And it was just embarrassing and humiliating to find myself being made a joke of because of something that I could not change about myself.
Now, thanks for that, Knox. Do you know if, or let me put it differently, is that the trip where you were the only African on tour when they tried to ridicule you?
Yes, advocate. I was the only African that was there.
And
there was no other African until I was finished. There was no other black African on the team.
Throughout your career in that team?
Yeah.
Till it said.
Yes, there was no other black African. All these years.
If you had spoken to them in isiXhosa, would there have been anyone who would have been able to understand what you were communicating to them? Do you know?
Hayi tata, uba ndandizawuthetha isiXhosa akho mntu wayezawukwazi ukundiva. Yile nto yayinyanzela into yoba ndizame ukuthetha isiNgesi because eyona main point yayikuba nam ndikwazi ukucommunicate kunye nabo.
Yeah. So it was.
If I had spoken, okay.
Oh yeah, yes, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. If I had spoken in isiXhosa, there would have been no one on the team who would have been able to understand. That's why it became important for me to try and speak English to the best of my ability.
Yeah, she's not there now. She's disconnected.
So what do we do now? Are you with us?
Oh yes, I'm back, Advocate. I'm
Okay.
sorry for that.
Yes.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, well, don't bother. These things happen. Yeah. Now I was asking this. It may be a speculative question, but what do you think would have happened if you had spoken isiXhosa to them when they asked? For instance, when they say, Nolu, do you understand English? And they started laughing. What do you think would have happened if you had responded in isiXhosa, irrespective of whether they would follow you?
Ndandizokwamkeleka if ndandithethe isiXhosa, because I've tried that, especially when at times they were speaking, they were communicating with Africans. But what I was told, that's rude of me to speak Xhosa, because I know no one understands Xhosa, Then at least the explanation for me on that note of Africans was that at least someone can maybe translate. But for them, it's not fair because no one can translate to whatever I was saying using Xhosa. So, the one way that ndandinothetha isiXhosa, because ukuthetha isiXhosa, that was something a rude to the team.
Mm.
I can put it like that.
I was told that speaking in isiXhosa was not acceptable because it was a rude thing to do, as no one on the team understood isiXhosa. But at least with Afrikaans, they could have someone who would be able to translate because some people understood Afrikaans. But as far as isiXhosa was concerned, it was made clear that I was not to speak isiXhosa.
So do I understand that those who spoke in Afrikaans and in English were white girls, and there was an expectation that you, being an African girl, should be able to follow whether the white girl who spoke in Afrikaans or in English, or both. Is that what you are conveying to me? That it was expected of you to understand these languages? English and Afrikaans? Or didn't you feel that way? How did you feel when it was put to you that English should be spoken and that in any event you, if not English, then Afrikaans? How did you feel about that?
Can Notolo please help me on that?
Okay. Wawuziva njani njengoba kwakulindelwe into yobana wena uthethe isiNgesi ne-Afrikaans kodwa kuphinde kulindelwe into yobana wena isiXhosa ungasithethi?
Ukhe waqhawuka Nox?
Ndikuvile qha ube buqhawuka.
Oh, okay. No, umbuzo uthi yayiwenza uzive njani into yobana kulindeleke into yoba uthethe isiXhosa, I mean uthethe i-English ne-Afrikaans kodwa wena kwakungalindelekanga uba uthethe isiXhosa?
Ndandingavi kamandi at all, honestly. And ndandiziva discriminated because kaloku ndicinga into yoba bafuna thetha sisonke, but ke ngoku xa abanye abantu bethetha iilwimi zakwamakwabo, which is i-Afrikaans, so ndandiziva discriminated ngoku mna because of the color of my skin.
It did not make me feel good at all. In fact, I felt discriminated against because of the color of my skin.
Somewhere in your evidence, you stated that you felt that you were being used. Can you explain that?
Yes, sir. I felt that I've been used because, you know, at that particular time, I was not getting anything, but that encouraged to go kwezalali, the encouraged in the mandiqhubekeke ndidevelopa i-girls for i-benefit ye-border cricket, because e-border cricket sasingenayo i-girls cricket but kufuneka ikhona because other provinces were stronger than us, because provinces babe ne-league games abazidlalayo, so i-clubs zazikhona but singekabi nayo thina kwi-border cricket. So I had to play that role, you know, for the benefit of border cricket, to have a stronger side and also to have girls cricket like other provinces. So I was doing that without getting anything. So that is why I feel I was being used. You know, I was being used. That is where this thing is coming from.
Yes. Just for the record.
I felt that border cricket used me to go out and scout for talent without getting anything in return. They would encourage me to go out and look for young talent in other teams because other provinces were way ahead of us in terms of having proper teams and talent that was playing at the time. And we as Border did not have a strong team. So in that way, I was used to source the talent.
Right. Now, you have listed about 4 or 5 expectations from Cricket South Africa. And I would like us to talk a little bit about those. The first one is that you would like Cricket South Africa to apologize as a federation for allowing the abuse. Now, in regard to that, is there any specific abuse you feel strongly about? Or can you summarize what you regard as having been an abuse for which Cricket South Africa must apologize?
Xa ndithetha nge-abuse data, advocate, I mean kukuxhaphazeka, uba utrithwe ngendlela abanye abantu ebebengatrithwa ngayo because of ibala lakho. Also kukuxhaphazeka kwakhona indoba ufumaniseke indoba uphatheka ngenye indlela abantu abangaphathwa ngayo ngenxa yesini sakho osiso, because Cricket South Africa knew ukuthi there is this Nolubabalo Ndzundzu who is representing us, you know, and Cricket South Africa akakhange ayazi ndoba okay abe ne-interest ukuthi okay there is this player engunolubabalo, I wonder wenza ntoni. So ibikuxhaphazeka ukungakhathalelwa okanye ukuziva ungakhathalelekanga, ufumanisa intoba yonke le nto iyenzeka because nguwe okanye libala lakho eli libangela into yoba kwenzeke zonke ezi zinto yonke le minyaka, okanye ufumane le mpatho abanye abantu bangaphathwanga ngayo. Ibikuxhaphazeka ka.
Yes. Not.
I feel that Cricket SA should apologize for the ignorance of not paying attention to me as a player and not caring about the fact that I was mistreated because of my race, because of my gender, and having been aware of my contribution and the representation I was having for South Africa at the time. They did not take any interest in discovering or finding out how my career was going and whether I was happy.
Now you then say you desired to be compensated for all the games that you played nationally and internationally, for which you received no remuneration. Now, if Cricket South Africa could come back and say, but she didn't even know whether women are getting paid at all, how can she now turn around and say she wants to be compensated when she testified before you and said she doesn't know whether women in cricket are remunerated at all, whether they are white or black or Indian or colored? How would you react to that? Or in any event, whether it is so, you still say Cricket South Africa should be doing that? Yes, go ahead.
If I go to write advocate, I will never believe that Cricket South Africa xa enothi ebengayazi into yoba we as the women, we were not getting paid. Angeke ndiyikholelwe leyo into. Because into endiqiniseke ngayo, uCricket South Africa uyazile uba kwenzeka ntoni nangathi as the ladies. Uyaze kakuhle into yoba we were not getting paid. Angeke ndiyikholelwe xa engathi Cricket South Africa, Cricket South Africa, I was not aware. That I will never believe.
Yeah, we are not even talking about a question of disparity in payments. Like, for instance, in tennis, there's been a big debate about the monies that tennis players who are male receive, which is disproportionate to monies that female tennis players were getting. And you will correct me if I'm wrong. It seems to me, you are saying there should be remuneration, let alone that the remuneration that female cricketers play, may not be equal to what male cricketers play. One, there should be remuneration, and when there is remuneration, there should be no disparity between what male cricketers get and what female cricketers get. Would I be wrong if I understand that to be behind that desire you express here for being compensated? That the idea is that people should be compensated for playing the game. And where they are compensated, there should be no disparity between black and white and between male and female. I'm putting that as a proposition. Is that what you mean, or do you mean something else? Not?
Ingaba,
yes, please, because we are breaker.
Okay. Ingaba kule ndawo uthetha kuyo ngokubhatalwa for ukudlalela i-South Africa nationally and internationally, ingaba uzama ukuthi uba ukuva kakuhle u-advocate, ingaba uzama ukuthi kumelwe into yobana kubekho umvuzo kuba nanidlala professionally, kwaye ingeyiyo nento yobana umvuzo obufunyanwa ngoomama awulingani nawo tata, kuba eyona nto yinto yoba ubungekho kwa ubakho. Ingaba yeyona nto uzama uyithetha uba ubungekho kwa ubakho umvuzo koomama?
Yes, that's what I mean. There was nothing for us. Of course, there was something, because I still don't understand why there was nothing for us.
Now, you then say you would like a recognition from Cricket South Africa or the minister for having been the first black woman to play cricket for South Africa at that level. Why is that important for you? I don't disagree.
Yeah, ibaluleke kakhulu kum-advocate, because for one to reach that level, not everyone uhamba ayofika to the level ebenikuyo. You need one ube kanti disciplined enough okanye ikhona izinto okufuneka uzenzile, that is ixesha lakho ukuzidedicate, you know. So it's not easy, not everyone. I understand ukuthi wonke umuntu, I mean liphupha lomuntu wonke, but ke ngoku you need to put something in order for you to be there. That is why ndicinga ukuthi kumele, I mean recognition, you know. And for me, being a first black woman osuka emaphandleni, obviously that journey endihambileyo for me to be there, you know, it was not something ezenzekelayo over the night, you know. In a commitment, a dedication, and obviously you need to, you know, to discipline yourself as well, or even go an extra mile for you to get to play for, I mean, for the national team.
Next.
It is very important for me to get the recognition because having been a woman who comes from the rural areas, it meant that I had to be extra dedicated, worked harder than the average person, and continued to be disciplined in the game for me to be the first Black woman to represent South Africa at national and international level. As a result of that, I feel that it cannot go unnoticed or unrecognized that I made the effort to be in that team with everything else that I was faced with.
Very good. Now, lastly, you say you would like to be given the opportunity to serve cricket, as this was a promise that never materialized. You probably want to tell South Africa in what way you would then be able to serve cricket, given that that is an opportunity that you didn't get. I'm sure you can't go back and say, I want to serve cricket as a player.
No. Ewe tata ngokuqinisekileyo nangokuyinyaniso angeke ndiphinde ndibuyele ebaleni. Iminyaka ihambile kakhulu but ixesha lam ecriketing lona aliphelanga. I can still be part of you know, development, like into yenzekayo with guys ezimhlophe. Uyofumanisa into yoba there are people who used to play, but they are still part of cricket. Ndizawukhankanya omabhawutsha abazi coaches. They used to be, though they are no longer playing, but they are playing maybe a role there as the former cricketers, which I think nakum ithuba elinjalo, because kaloku ukuba yipart ye-cricket, it's not only on the field of play. You can still play a very big role out of the field.
Very good. Do you have a... Oh yeah, okay, that's no, yes, no.
Okay. I'm well aware that because of age and the fact that a few years have gone by, I can no longer go back to the field, but I do feel that could still contribute to the great game of cricket, whether it's through coaching or development of the game. To make an example, former players like Mark Boucher are coaching and it would be nice for me to also find myself contributing to the game in that way.
Well, I think on that very promising note, we have come to the end of these proceedings. Unless, of course, you have got one final last word which you want to put. But I was struck, if I have to say so, because it's the second time that it is coming before us. Your last paragraph consists of 2 lines or 1.5 lines. And I would like to tell Cricket South Africa what it says. And I would like to tell the listening and viewing public, those who follow these proceedings, because I think in those few words, it says both what you have been through, but also what your first love was and continues to be. And I think South Africans would take away from those few words a hope that we can still be the country that we want to be. Cricket was my first love. It was love for cricket that saved me from committing suicide during those racist times. We thank you for that. We will adjourn.
Load,